life is a gamble. It's a hustle. It's like, why are you gambling another life here? When you choose to have children, you don't know the repercussions of bringing another organism here. So why would you even want to play with that? I had to question my father about it. I had conversations with my father and my mother about it. And, not even to my surprise, they couldn't give me an answer to it. And the answer is always, oh, it's because, I didn't know, or, it's always because I didn't know. I just had children because, it's an instinct. If you're doing something and you don't realize what you're doing, it's an instinctual reaction. You feel me? It's like we have an innate desire to procreate because we're not really following our own rules. We're following the rules of nature. We're at the whim, we're at the mercy of our genetics. We're already, our life is already carved out for us, the moment we're born. We're a slave to our instincts. We're even a slave to societal expectations. And they sell us this soft shit. And by soft, I don't mean in the toxic masculinity sense, but I mean just being a subservient individual. That's the problem that I have. Just teaching subservience. That's the pattern that I see in the modern age. And it's so damn frustrating to like experience, because in school you see all of that. You don't. It's like if you're a certain way, man, you just don't get a lot of privileges. If you're born with certain characteristics, you don't get a lot of privileges. You feel me? If you're not pretty, if you're not good looking, you're already at the bottom of the food chain and shit. If you're poor, you're already at the bottom of the food chain, And then, to just have neglectful ass parents that give you jailhouse needs, that give you the bare minimum, is another tragedy, It's another tragedy. Bringing a life into this world is not a gift, it's another tragedy. You are gambling another life. You feel me? You are essentially gambling another life, for your own fulfillment. And that's true immorality right there in the human sense. Logically, when you bring life into here, you're just risking that life, especially when you don't have